Today I'm going to try to keep it brief. Last time I said I was going to do about a 3 or 4 minute video and it turned out to be 12 minutes. So let's try to keep it at 3 or 4 minutes this time. It's going to be tricky because I'm doing kind of a 2-for-1 this time. We're going to talk about technique and we're also going to talk about a very classic cocktail. So we want to talk about the difference between shaking and stirring. Why do we do one versus the other? When's it right? When's it wrong? A lot of people get it wrong, sometimes on purpose. And we're also going to talk about the cocktail that this best suits, which is the martini. So, as anybody that knows me knows already, I could talk for 45 minutes about martinis and what's right and wrong with martinis in the world. I'll try to push some of that aside right now. Maybe we'll do a 45-minute piece later on martinis. But so let's talk real quick about your basic martini. The official, in my opinion, definition of a martini is a cocktail consisting of gin and vermouth. That's pretty much it. Vermouth plays really well with gin. Use a good gin, use a good vermouth. You get this beautiful botanical cocktail. It's pretty nice and boozy. Isn't going to melt your socks off, but has a nice kick to it. You can sit and sip and enjoy when it's nicely chilled. So let's start by making a classic martini. So I'm going to get my cocktail glass here, my stirring glass. I'm going to set this up here so you can see it. Normally I wouldn't build a cocktail up on the bar like this. It's a recipe for disaster. I always like to add my spirits first so that you don't have this ice sitting in there melting, you get distracted, you have to answer the phone or something, and all of a sudden somebody has a cocktail that's 90% water. Makes for good margins, makes for bad business and bad cocktails. So we're going to start with gin. I use a lot of good local gins. I hate touting just one here because if you come in you'll see that we have many local gins as well as some from other places. I'm kind of a gin fan. But today I'm going to use Vivacity's Native. It's probably one of my personal favorites. Great gins, great people. So I'm going to go 2 ounces on the gin. I'm going to make a nice full-size martini today. And then personally, I like about a 2-to-1 ratio gin to vermouth. So use a decent vermouth. There are a ton of them out there. I find that Norley Pratt is a good midline. It's better than some of the bottom shelf stuff. Really solid, nice vermouth, but not too expensive. You can get really fancy with your vermouths as well. So I'm going to do 1 ounce of vermouth. Really simple. 2-to-1. That's what I like. Other people will, just do a splash of vermouth. The trend has been to eliminate vermouth or very dry, just rinse the glass or pass the bottle over. That's mostly because people have started drinking vodka martinis. And vodka and vermouth typically don't get along very well together. So I'm going to take my cocktail spoon, I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to give this a good stir. I'm going to stir probably 30 seconds or so. Get it nice and chilled down. Talk about stirring versus shaking. When you just have booze in a cocktail, when you just have alcoholic ingredients, so gin and vermouth, perfect example. Whiskey and vermouth, when you're making some whiskey cocktails. Stirring is a great way to chill down a drink. A little less dilution. You're not mashing up that ice in there, getting ice crystals floating all over. So you still preserve the clarity of the drink and the strength of the drink without agitating it a whole bunch and mashing it all together. There's some crazy stuff when you start talking about stirring versus shaking. People talk about bruising the gin. That's nonsense. So cocktail glass, strain in. You got this nice clear martini. Then you have your option for a garnish. Personally, I'm a twist kind of guy. I like the citrus in there. So get a nice little bit of lemon. Put a good twist on it. I like to maybe just express a little over the glass. Not too much. You don't want a lemon to overpower it. And then I'll hang it on the side. Sometimes I'll drop it right into the bottom, depending on the drink. But you get this nice clear drink, chilled. The glass is nice and cold, and beautiful aroma. I'll save that for later. Then we'll talk real quick about shaking. So when you shake a cocktail, what you typically are doing is mixing a non-alcoholic ingredient in. and getting it really kind of frothed up and really incorporating everything in there. It's a much harsher form of mixing. You get a little more dilution, the ice crystals break up, and you're kind of mashing everything together. So when you're using citrus, if you're doing a cocktail, a margarita, great shaking cocktail, you've got sugar, you've got lime juice, all kinds of stuff in there. And it's a good way to get that all incorporated really well. Sometimes with herbs, if you're using mint or something like that, it's nice to shake it and get everything incorporated, and then you can choose to strain or not. The one exception to this, and this is a cocktail I don't like very well, but I told you I was going to cover the gamut on martinis today, is a vodka martini. So a lot of people prefer their vodka martinis shaken. I'm not going to judge. A lot of people prefer their vodka martinis without any vermouth. Makes sense because vodka and vermouth don't really play all that well together. So classic vodka martini is going to be ice in a shaker, and I'm breaking my rule here with saying that I don't like to put the ice in first because this is going to take about 2 seconds to make. So vodka, I'm going to do 2 ounces again. It'll be a little bit smaller cocktail because I'm only doing 2 ounces of vodka. No vermouth in there, but I'm not going to pour somebody a 3 ounces of vodka as a cocktail. Shake your glass, give it a whack. Good thorough shake. Give it a whack with the kind of heel of your hand there. Comes apart. Grab a cocktail glass. You'll see this one's going to look a lot different. Strain that in. It's frothy. It's going to have little ice crystals in it. That's kind of what people think of as the ideal vodka martini. It's not full all the way. There's a full measure. There's a lot of booze in there. You're talking about 2 ounces of vodka. So what I like to do with a vodka martini is pop a couple nice olives in there. Brings it up a little bit, adds that brininess to the vodka. If you want a dirty martini, strain a little bit of the juice into the shaker before you shake, and you end up with a dirty martini. So that's a vodka martini. Not my thing. Technically, as far as I'm concerned, not really a martini. We won't go down the path of all the other chocotinis and bizarre teeny drinks that some of them don't even have gin or vodka in them. But classic vodka martini, gin martini, shaking and stirring. Shake a cocktail that has other ingredients in it besides liquor. Stir ingredients that are all liquor or alcohol based. Clearer cocktail, less dilution. Shaken, more frothiness, more dilution, and you get a better mix on it. So that's it for today. Really simple. Thank you for hanging out and watching. Thanks for putting up with the bloopers. I'm not editing those out, see? So that'll stay in there. Stop by again at the Three-Legged Dog in Independence, Oregon for a craft cocktail, craft beer, or a fantastic meal.